How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Thanks so much for tuning in. And of course, today we have a bunch of PlayStation news that doesn't really seem to be going well for them, as they are starting to make the transition from the old model, the old archaic model, over to the more new model, I guess, where everything is going full digital, cloud, multi-platform, and they are slowly making that transition as they're going. Microsoft clearly likes to do things first, really early, take all the hate, take all the flack, and then obviously Sony likes to follow over slowly and gradually and get people into it more and more as a gradual thing. But if you are going to enjoy this video, you obviously have to hit that like button, then you hit that subscribe button, and then that bell needs to be clicked so you can fully appreciate the gloriousness of this video. And if you want to support me further, which is totally optional, you can do that by becoming a YouTube member. Don't forget, if you do, the Supporter Plus tier gets you early access to videos. And of course, if you want to support me further, you can do that through the Super Thanks and Patreon. Now, back to the video, and as you can see, the first piece of news we have over here, Sony to cut 250 jobs from recordable media business Key Hub in Japan. Now, why is this important? It's not so much so for PlayStation, but they are laying off 250 people for their Blu-ray manufacturing. Sony will continue to produce and sell Blu-ray discs for corporate use, not for consumer use. Now, whether this means that you're no longer going to be able to buy recordable Blu-ray discs is another question. They're still out there in troves, but it looks like they are pulling back from that quite rapidly. Production of discs for private use will be gradually discontinued, according to sources. New development of optical discs, such as Blu-ray discs, will be discontinued. And finally, this is due to a decline in demand for traditional storage formats such as Blu-ray discs. Now, obviously, the push for digital has been quite aggressive by Microsoft, and everyone has kind of been pushing for that aggressiveness to go digital in hopes that they can reduce plastic waste for global warming. This is another push for that, not just for the discs, but the cases and everything else. And as you can see, this is going to be something that they push for. Now, obviously, these are clearly referring at the moment to recordable Blu-ray discs that you can bring home and record on your PC, but this will have an impact on the traditional Blu-ray medium that the consoles are basically using to play games. So the push from Sony to go full digital has begun. And we can see that through here as well. Sony plans to include PC launcher, which we already knew about, that the PC launcher is coming. They're getting people more accustomed to it through the PSN requirement. Cross-buy, cross-save progression with PC is going to be huge because, well, in one way, people are going to argue that this is going to cannibalize their PlayStation sales in terms of hardware. But in another way, I think this is great because it gives you that play anywhere experience that we enjoy right now on Xbox. And believe me, it's a really, really good feature. Whether I can play on my PC or my Xbox or my Steam Deck, I'm playing Xbox games wherever I go. I have the option to, and there's nothing, no restrictive method of stopping me. At the moment, with Sony, it's very restricted. And even with Helldivers 2, which we're going to cover in a minute because that's getting even worse, but even with Helldivers 2, where they released the PC version and the PlayStation version, I actually thought that there was going to be cross-save progression with that, and I was really excited for that, but it never materialized. And apparently PS Plus is going to be on Fire Stick, Roku, and smart TVs as well. So basically, everything that Microsoft has done, announced, Sony is following through. Game Pass launcher, Play Anywhere, Amazon Fire, smart TVs. So basically, they're following the exact same footsteps as Microsoft. And as you can see here, Wario64 says, Sony will cut around 250 jobs from its recordable media business, key manufacturing hub, amid a decline in demand for traditional media storage formats, and will gradually cease production of optical disc storage media products, including Blu-ray discs, according to sources. Now, of course, this is talking about recordable media, and I know this is going to come up, but this will impact the standard Blu-ray medium itself. It just will. Over here, you've got TCMF Games talking about the PlayStation 7. Obviously, they've given up with the PS5 Pro, and the PS6 is just years away, 2028. They say new reports are going out that Sony is gradually going to move away from discs. That's the story we just covered. They are currently laying off people. Sony will cut 250 jobs per reports. These jobs will be cut in the recordable media business, key manufacturing hub, which is again something we've covered. This is due to a decline in demand for traditional storage formats because everything now is just stored on the cloud or just on your hard drives. You've got portable drives now that are so small that can hold 2-3 terabytes of data. You don't need it. And let's face it, disk mediums are slow. They will gradually cease production of disc products, including Blu-ray discs, according to sources. Beyond this, analyst Matt Piscatella predicts that Sony has an all-digital console with PS7. I don't think the PS6 will be all-digital. I think the transition for digital only will begin with the PS6, and you'll be seeing a lot more games going full digital only with the PS6. And by the PS7, I can definitely see it being full digital. So I'm in agreement with Matt Piscatella here. I'm in agreement with him. PS6 could be the last physical media console for PlayStation. I think it will be the last physical as companies try to, stop losing money. And how are they losing money? They're losing money from the second-hand business market. That market is crippling them in many ways. Like I said, when Spider-Man 2 came out, the second day I was over at Computer Exchange, a second-hand store in the UK, and they had over 50 second-hand copies of Spider-Man 2 handed in because people just completed the game within the first 2 days and just traded it in straight away to get most of their money back or get a higher value return on it so they can buy something else in the store or just have it as credit for something else. But that means that if I went in there and bought one of those Spider-Man 2s, which is cheaper than retail, Sony isn't getting any of that money, the second-hand store is, and Sony is losing a lot of money here. And a lot of money gets lost to these publishers through second-hand game dealing. Obviously, second-hand games is pro-consumer, but businesses don't really care about that. They care about the bottom line, and this is hurting their bottom line. And by going digital, they will stop that. Now, what I would like them to introduce, Microsoft as well, because Microsoft did have this, they did have a way with the Xbox One when they were going full digital, DRM, etc., yada, yada, yada. You would be able to trade in your digital license for money off for another game or credit so you can spend it on another game. I would like the regulators, organizations, whatever it involves, to get together and come up with a solution where a option for this is viable and works. So if we have digital games that we no longer want, we can just trade those in for whatever monetary value it is. If we deem it's acceptable, we trade it in and get money off the next game. I'm hoping that will happen because the push to digital is obviously going to remove the second-hand market. So that would be the next best thing. I did say we're coming to Helldivers, and well, it seems like they've lost 90% of their players with no signs of recovery. It's been hurting them really, really bad. The whole PSN drama was one thing, but that isn't actually the point that actually broke the camel's back, as it says, because people were still playing after the PSN drama. But it was the constant nerfs. They decided that when Destiny does it, and they see the backlash from Destiny, it's a good thing. So there was a weapon in the game that was super powerful. They said, right, we're going to nerf it because everyone's using it and it's creating imbalance. So everyone then moved to the next best thing. And so they said, right, we're going to nerf this gun because, everyone is using it and it's creating imbalance. So then everyone moved to the third gun. And they said, right, we're going to nerf this gun because everyone's using it and it's creating an imbalance. And then they said, right, we're going to use this next best gun. And then they said, well, yeah, we're going to nerf that one as well because at the end of the day, everyone's using it and it's creating an imbalance. And now the community is saying, well, we can't actually kill the monsters anymore because all the guns are shit. And it's not fun anymore because we don't have the power fantasy. You promised us power fantasy, fun and games, and you've taken that completely away from us. So we're not going to play your game anymore. And as such, the game has lost 90% of its players and will continue to lose. And honestly, I don't see it recovering. They just had a recent update. It gave it a bit of resurgence, but they went straight down as soon as people saw all the nerfs again. And in a game like this, which is really running on 2 platforms and not multiple platforms, it's going to hurt you when you're hitting nerfs. Destiny can probably get away with it because it's on all 3 platforms, and well, even more with the old generation, right? So it's on like 5 platforms. So they can get away with it to some degree because they've got people invested in that franchise for 10 years. You're a new franchise, you're not going to get away with it. And they've found out the hard way that continuously nerfing and making something unfun, just like Diablo 4 did with their Season 1 patch, is not the right way to go. Hopefully they can recover. But of course, the news for Sony just continues to get worse as Concord Dev confirms mandatory PSN requirement. We knew this was going to happen. God of War Ragnarok will also require a single player offline game will require PSN for you to play. I guess you're going to have some form of online to log in and actually confirm that you've logged in with your PSN account. I'm not sure how that's going to work with Ragnarok, but with Concord on PC, it is going to require a PSN account. I guess if you're downloading it from the internet, you have to have an online account, right? So that's me just being stupid. For us to have PC players and PS players together, for that cross-play, cross-progression to work, that's a layer that needs to be there just on a technical level. Whether it does or not is irrelevant. Sony wants you on the PSN network if you are going to play this game, and I know all of you are dying to play Concord because it is going to be your game of the year. I just know it. You're looking forward to this. You've been craving for this. You've been salivating over this. It's coming, folks. It's coming, and it's coming with a PSN requirement. I mean, it's an online game, so it's always going to be there. God of War's the weird one, but like I said, they're doing all of this in preparation for this, for their PC launcher and their Play Anywhere. That's what they're doing this for. And obviously, once they go over to like the Fire Stick and Roku and smart TVs, they're going to want you to sign in with the PSN launcher. And eventually, I can see them doing what Microsoft couldn't do or didn't do or wasn't confident enough to do. And I can see them trialing and doing and potentially being successful, who knows, releasing their games only on the PlayStation PC launcher as a timed exclusive before it goes to other platforms, and we'll see how that works out for them. But overall, that's it. That's the news. I know you're excited for Concord. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of all the news you heard today, the state of Sony, and of course, them, confirming that they're going to be going a PC launcher, Play Anywhere, basically doing exactly what Xbox is doing, full digital by the PS7. Helldivers is in a mess, and Concord, well, the less I say is more. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell to stay up to date with all content I release. You can support me further through my YouTube membership. The Supporter Plus tier does give you access to video content earlier. And of course, the super thanks underneath the video if you've really enjoyed the video. That's it, folks. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Remain legend.